Have you ever wondered how your spouse or family members or your friends felt about you having a stroke? Those three categories of people are normally the ones becoming our caretakers. When we get the perspective from our caretakers on how they feel about our situation, we will look at things differently and we must adjust. We have to adjust from only seeing what happened to me. You got to see what happened to me and my spouse and my family and my friends, and share this traumatic event with each other, or how you and they are going to make it. Even if our relationships have taken a turn from the worst temporarily, because everybody deals with trauma differently. So you're gonna bug head something, so to speak, for a while. But as long as you communicate with them how you feel, and you allow them to communicate how they feel, then you can come together as one and go through this thing we call a stroke. It's very humbling, but it's necessary. It shows us how to be more empathetic to our caretakers' needs as well as our own. So I'm going to introduce my loved one, my friend, my ex-spoken. She is going to give her experience of how she had to, I had a hard time just hearing her say this, but I thought it would be beneficial if you heard it. So here she is.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daneisha White. I am the wife and caretaker for Coach Steve. And I remember, it's been about 12 years ago now, but I still remember like it was yesterday, the day that my husband had a stroke and the trajectory of our life totally changed. It was just, a regular day. And when I came home, he wasn't feeling good. But about midnight, he fell out of the bed. I went to him to see what he needed, what I could do. Went to grab him some water. He asked me to get him some water, and I came back. And just within those few short minutes, his words started slurring. He wasn't making any sense. And, the next thing I don't know how I was going to get him off the floor. My husband, he's a big, tall guy, and I was trying to grab his hand to pull him off the floor, and he would begin to push me away and be kind of cold and distant, which was really not like him. So I knew something was wrong. Called the ambulance, got to the hospital with my brother-in-law, and I was not prepared for the news that the doctor told me, that my 40-year-old husband had had a stroke, and that he had to be helicoptered to another hospital if he had any chance of surviving. So it was just one thing after another. We get to the to the other hospital. The doctor tells me if he's going to have any chance of surviving, that I have to make a decision whether he should have surgery in his brain. And if he had the surgery, it was not 100% guaranteed that he would even survive, or he might be a vegetable. So it was just a lot to process, as you can imagine. And so, after talking with a few family members, I prayed to the Lord. And to be honest, in that moment, I didn't even feel like I could hear the Lord. I didn't know if the Lord was saying, go ahead and have the surgery. I just didn't know. So I made the decision to have the surgery. And after a couple of hours, which felt like an eternity at that moment, the doctor did come out and say that the surgery was successful. So there was some light at the end of this dark tunnel. But what I did not know, I was not prepared for, that this was going to be a journey to healing. And I was not prepared that the husband that I knew just a couple of hours ago, the way that we did life, the way that I experienced him, was going to be totally different. As I watched him grieve the person that he used to be, I didn't know that I was going to have to grieve the person that I once knew. I didn't realize that I was going to have to grieve the old husband that I knew, and it was things that happened along the journey that it was so harsh that it abruptly awakened me to that reality. I remember just one day, a few days after he had come out of the coma. He was in a coma for 3 weeks, and he finally came to. And the nurse came in, and she was like, I need to, change your husband. You can go out and come right back. And I guess I thought I was going to miss something. I didn't want to leave. And I think the nurse knew better than I did what I would experience or see, but I did not know. And to stay in that room and see a nurse change my 40-year-old husband, a man that was full of life, now lifeless, that was really a shock, and it was devastating. And experiencing those type of things during the journey, it really made me realize that my husband survived, but he was different. And so I guess I just want to give you permission, as a caretaker, if it's your spouse that you have gone through this trauma with, to give you permission to grieve the person that you once knew the way you experienced them. The changes that have taken place in them physically and emotionally and even spiritually. Like, it is okay to have time to grieve your loss, to have time to grieve that person. And I think a part of me was afraid because I didn't want God to think that I was ungrateful. I was grateful that my husband survived, but I got to a point where I realized that it was okay to grieve the husband that I knew, the husband that could open doors for me, the husband that could pick up my bags, the husband that could pick me up, but because of the physical changes in his body, he can't pick me up. We would like play wrestle and stuff like that, but he can't do that anymore. And it's okay to grieve that. But I want to also tell you, while you're grieving, that you can still have hope to embrace, in a lot of ways, a better version of the person that you knew before. It takes a lot of strength to go through, to push through such a traumatic experience as having a stroke. And the strength that I've seen come through this man, it leaves me speechless. He had to learn to walk, to talk again. And he pushed through for his family. He pushed through for me. And now he's more sensitive to my needs because he appreciates how I was there for him. He's a even more attentive father. and he's definitely grown closer to the Lord. So I'm giving you permission to grieve. Grieve that person, grieve your spouse the way that you once knew them, but also have hope of experience in a lot of ways a better version of them. So I hope this has helped me sharing my experience with you, and I pray nothing for God's blessings upon your life.
Do this one thing for yourself. Sit down with your caretaker, with a loving and compassionate attitude, and ask them how they felt when you had a stroke. So I'm Stephen White. I'm transformational speaker and life coach. God bless you, and we will see you the next time.